welcome to Tome of Uselessness. I'm Devon.
Again.
Today, we have a very special episode, I guess, because I spend too much time on YouTube. And no, it's not about YouTube drama, don't worry.
At this time.
At this time. Although I have been watching, I did watch a 4.5-hour documentary on Nikocado avocado, so we could cover that in the future if you want.
Excellent.
Yeah. Why would we talk about real world things when I could tell you about YouTubers? Some backstory. I've just been getting a ton of old Siskel and Ebert episodes recommended on my YouTube lately. And so I've been watching those. Mm-hmm. And if you're not familiar, they were movie reviewers who had a TV show from I want to say the late 70s up until 2000. It went on a long time.
Very long time, yeah.
And of course it was Gene Siskel and Robert Ebert who were newspaper movie reviewers, and then they got their own show. And I've mostly been watching, at the end of every year, they do the worst movies of the year reviews. And they generally break them down into categories, the worst big actor making a bad decision movie, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I've been finding it really interesting because we also review media, and it's interesting how different the general tone of reviews are now as they were kind of because I would say that they were kind of the gold standard for movie reviews at the time.
Definitely, especially Ebert, right?
Yeah. And it's just very interesting to see how the way we talk about movies has changed, mm-hmm. but also that a lot of the complaints are still the same.
Yeah, I think that's one of the funniest things as well, because it always crops up a side tangent, of course, when everyone complains about sequels, reboots, remakes, or whatever. And it's that's the same complaint every 2 years, 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah, a lot of what they complain about is this movie didn't need a sequel, or this movie, they remade this movie and I don't know why, because it's worse.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that a lot of the ones are about the worst movies, but it's so weird the criticisms that they have about the movies.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is one of the criticisms that I noticed came up a lot is why do these actors do these movies? They wouldn't watch them. Why are they in them? They blame the actors specifically. And I'm that's strange because you must know that revisions happen from script to screen.
Sure.
And editing happens. It's really fucking weird to just blame the actors for it.
Well, or that's also, again, maybe in a different era too, where there were more star vehicles. I think I want to say there were more movie stars where it was this movie is made because it's a Tom Cruise or Schwarzenegger or a Goldie Hawn. It's so maybe there was thinking that there was they had more creative input versus nowadays, we were joking as usual, where it's just more machinistic, as it were. I can see maybe that angle a little bit, but you're also right. It's well, why did the actor do it? Just because they thought the role was going to be cool, or they were going to get paid because that's a job? Right?
Yeah, because it's a job that they do. Yeah.
They need to make rent as well,
They also, one of the other things that I've noticed is that they just think that people who disagree with them are stupid. There's no room for personal choice in their review, personal preference in their reviews. It's if you disagree with me, you're dumb.
Right. They were coming more from an attempted, objective view, in a way.
Yeah, but movies are subjective.
They're art, I mean, you could argue either way, but art is usually subjective, right?
Yeah, and maybe not every movie needs to be like Schindler's List. Like maybe we obviously need movies like Schindler's List or Sophie's Choice or whatever, but like maybe we also need like dumb movies that are just fun to watch.
Sometimes, yeah.
You know? Like maybe we just like maybe we need like popcorn Marvel movies as well as like The Menu. We just recorded about The Menu, so that's on my mind. But you know, like there's room for a range of movies for different purposes. It doesn't have to be all high art all the time.
I don't know if because we were talking a bit about this before, is if you did look up like maybe some of their more written stuff where maybe they were more eloquent, or because I thought the show usually it was quicker, like the format was like, no, we got to get the because it was like a 24-minute kind of thing or whatever. So they were like, we got to bang out a bunch of reviews.
Yeah, especially for the like end of year worst movies, like they're like, here's 25 movies and one sentence about each of them.
Sure.
But the tone is still like really weird to me. Like if you disagree, you're dumb.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Well, and I guess it was trying to project that like that authority that they know what they're talking about, right?
Yeah, on a side tangent here, the opening like credits for their show is the most like 90s opening credits ever. Like it's filmed like the opening credits for like a 90s sitcom. Like it's like them like throughout their day like getting coffee or like paying for a movie ticket, and then like the later ones like in the late 80s early 90s, there's like a truck that pulls up and that's got like their like newspapers are coming out of the back of it, and on the side of the truck it's like Gene Siskel is right, and then a different truck pulls in front of it and it was like, we like Roger Ebert.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
They do like a back-to-back like arms crossed situation.
I don't know if they specifically do, but I can vividly see that in my head.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm picturing as well.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. And then like some of their movie choices are in one of them, Ebert was like, Siskel was like, I hated Home Alone 3. I thought it was trash. And Roger Ebert was like, no, I loved it. That was a great continuation of the franchise. And I've seen Home Alone 3. It's not.
Yeah. You're like, no, I'm with Siskel on this one.
Yeah. You're wrong, Roger Ebert. You're wrong. I disagree with you. I guess that makes me dumb.
Way to go.
They also have because it's like the 80s and 90s, they talk about women in a really, really uncomfortable way.
Yeah, you were telling me a bit about it, and even I was kind of like, yeah, no, that doesn't sound good.
There was one, I can't remember which movie it was. I think Mickey Rourke was in it, and a lady that I don't remember her name, but I remember Siskel was like, he was like, I'm a red-blooded man, and I was excited to see some on-screen chemistry, but this just didn't do it for me. It was like really weird. Like he's like, he was implying like this didn't give me an erection, and I wanted it to. It's just like, what a weird fucking thing to say, dude.
Yeah. Wasn't hot enough for me.
Like, what? Just go rent porn then. Like, you strange man. There was another one. They were talking about Demi Moore's Striptease, like the movie Striptease, and they were like, she just wasn't erotic enough in it. And then that comment was followed up by, I can't wait for her next movie, Demi Moore Goes to the Gynecologist. And I'm like, what are you guys trying to communicate here? Because it just sounds like you're a bunch of creeps.
Yeah, that's nothing about the movie now at this point. You're just like, Yeah, Demi Moore, great set of games.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's such a weird thing to say to start off with, and it's weird that it made it past to the edit. Like, it's weird that that's what made it on air.
Yeah.
Like, what didn't make it on air? And like, I don't understand what the comment Demi Moore goes to the gynecologist. Like, are they saying that like her performance was like clinical, or are they saying that they want to just see her in stirrups? Like, I don't understand what they were trying to imply there.
I think either way, like you said, it's probably gross.
Yeah, whatever they're trying to say, we know that it's bad. It's really strange to see because, like, now with the internet, which, you know, sometimes I hate, it has democratized movie reviewing in a way now that anybody can just put something up on YouTube or start a podcast, like two idiots starting
From
a podcast
Canada.
in Canada.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Yeah.
But it's like now when you talk about movies, because there's so many people talking about movies, you kind of have to come up with like an interesting angle or something intelligent to say, or if you've got like a hot take, it's got to be a real hot take. And it's just like interesting comparing like how movie reviews are now versus what was on TV in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah, and especially like you said, because they were printed in newspapers, their reviews, and that was the form of mass dissemination at the time.
Yeah, like what's a newspaper?
Yeah, so like you said, it was just a far different kind of era in that way. I was also going to say, like, I personally have kind of a strange relationship in that, like, I've never really paid attention to critic reviews, mostly because of Siskel and Ebert. And I think because of growing up, you know, when you're younger too, especially, like, everything's great. And
oh yeah.
And like I would watch a movie and they'd be like, oh, that movie was trash, and I was like, no, it was great. Right? So then I was always kind of turned off reviews, but I've also known, especially Ebert's written reviews, I've seen clips or read some of them, like, yeah, they're clever and witty, and so I always found them interesting, but I never really kind of read them before watching a movie. Like, it never informed my opinion about whether I was going to see a movie or not. Like, I've always been kind of that way, like, again, with the trailers thing, right, where I stopped watching them, like, in high school. So, and I was just kind of like, I'm out. Right? So.
But like, you love Red Letter Media.
Sure.
But I guess you kind of watch the reviews after you've seen the movie.
Definitely. Like, if it's a movie I'm going to watch, I don't watch it till after I've watched the movie.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did even give you a heads up about their end of year.
Yeah.
I was like, don't watch it. They're going to talk about something you haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I even skipped the part where they talked a bit about what we do in the shadows, even though it seemed like it was only for like 2 seconds. But I was like, nope, I don't even want to know. Move on. So yeah, I've always, like you said, like they were the top. Like, it was like, if you were gonna try to do movies reviews, these were the guys, right?
Yeah, and now it's like, you know, anybody can. It like, I mean, I think I prefer the way it is now, not just for the women stuff, because that's it's like it feels so like jarring when you hear it. Like, I don't know about you, but when you hear just like two professional men just being like, yeah, I want to go to Demi Moore's gynecology appointment. You're just,
yeah,
it's just so fucking weird.
No, and it's like you said, it's like, even you were texting me what they were saying, I was like, really? Like, people
it's like,
say that in a movie review? Like,
they're like, oh, this movie didn't get my dick hard. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
She clearly should have done more nudity scenes. And you're like, really?
But I do like that there's, like, now with YouTube and stuff, there's these long form video essays that really, like, dive into like the minutia of a movie or show. Like, I've been watching do you ever watch Johnny Two Cellos?
Nope.
He does a lot of BoJack content.
Nice.
where he'll break down like his favorite episodes and stuff, and it's just it's interesting. Like it's interesting for him to talk about like, oh, this is how this character's processing their trauma, or because it's BoJack and everything's depressing.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, look, this action that BoJack did really had an effect on these characters. He said this in this episode, and now like 4 seasons later, there's still repercussions from it, or whatever, right?
Mm.
And it's just like, I find it interesting when people really dive into their opinions. And then like to go from that to like just two dudes being like, yeah, this movie sucked and you're dumb if you like it. Like, why was this the gold standard? But again, like, there wasn't really the space in like TV programming to do like a 24-minute deep dive on Home Alone 3, I guess. But but yeah, it's weird. It's weird how they were so consistent for several decades, and like just YouTube and the advent of the internet and letting anybody write anything or say anything about movies has just changed the whole format and language of reviewing films and TV.
Yeah, and it's interesting just thinking back as well that like that change, because back when I worked at the theater, when it first opened in Mission, and at the time
in 1872.
Exactly. I was new in school, and, you know, computers, blah, 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 blah. Point of the story is I actually always wanted to start a review website back then even.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because I was like, man, I watch a ton of movies all the time. I love talking about movies. I was like, I should do that. Never did, because I'm terrible at follow through. But it always was something I wanted to do. And I'm glad we do this show now because I get to do that. But like you said, that was even on the cusp of that change, because I think even by then they were winding down their shows, and you know, it was the landscape for movie reviewing was changing because blogs were existing. People were starting to talk about movies outside of the newspaper, right?
Yeah, totally. It's also interesting how their system was either just thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yeah, I think that was on the show. In the written reviews, they did stars. I know.
Oh yeah.
You know, out of 4 or 5 stars or whatever, right? But you are correct. Yeah, it would just be thumbs up, thumb down. Which, like I said, I like how the Weekly Planet, those guys from Australia, they do movie reviews, and they always do best movie ever or worst movie ever, because they're
right.
there's no in between on the internet.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, we should start reviewing stuff as like content or movie.
Sure. Or like I always jokingly talk with people too that I'm like, yeah, is this like a movie or a film? Because there's a difference there, right?
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, definitely. You can start bringing that in. Yeah, the content or a movie.
Is it a content or a movie?
Yeah. No, it's interesting, guys. I personally haven't really gone back and looked at some of their old stuff as well, but just from what you were texting me and what you've told me, it's just like, yeah, like what a difference, what a change in the style, and also in that, like the languaging of it.
Yeah, the women stuff is really jarring though. Like honestly, that's the weirdest part of it, when they're like whatever, right? Like,
yeah.
Well, they'll be like, we'll just objectify women. That's cool, right?
And I mean, unfortunately, Hollywood has a track record of that.
Yeah, that's true. But like, it's so weird to hear it so blunt. Like,
yeah. Especially like you're saying these two were like the guys for, you know, higher minded movie reviewing, and they're just like, yeah, great looking lady, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, but it's not even like, the thing is, it's weird because it's not even like complimentary objectification. Mostly what I was hearing was just like, yeah, she wasn't hot enough for me, or she's not erotic enough, or
yeah,
the sex scenes didn't make me want to have sex with anyone. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, that's something that's kind of interesting too, just like over time of movies, like aside from maybe the horror genre especially, but like they would always just have like nudity for like no reason.
Oh yeah.
And that's sort of gone away, which it probably is a good thing, where it's just like, it's just not random. Like usually if there's nudity now, there's like a reason or a story thing or something going on, rather than just like, it's a shower scene for no reason, right? Like,
I think one of the most egregious is like the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider, where there's just like a
right.
5-minute montage of her in the shower. So, and it's like a weird like open shower too. Like it's not like a tub or like,
Yeah.
it's just like a room with a shower head.
Well, I mean, movie set, you gotta get a camera in there.
Yeah, obviously, but it's still it's weird.
Yeah, most like, or I was saying like higher end movies. I was just thinking as well in Spectre, the Bond woman in that, she's having a shower and she has a weird circular shower thing. It's on a boat, sure, but still, it's a weird circular shower situation.
This is my shower room. It is the size of a normal family's house.
Totally.
And it's lit very well.
Yeah. Well, obviously.
Golden light everywhere. It's just like a very strange little time capsule. And it's also interesting because when you read the comments on things, because I was like, oh man, they're saying some fucked up shit about women. So I went to the comments to see like get the temperature of the like of the room, the people who are watching this, like let's see what's going on. And everyone's like, we don't have reviewers like this anymore. I miss these guys. They were the best. And I'm like, the fuck? Why? Nobody tells it like it is anymore. I'm like, yes, they do. Spend 5 minutes online.
They tell it better now.
Yeah. I just want to like go leave like the link to Folding Ideas like 3-part series on 50 Shades.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, just go watch this. This is a good movie review.
It is a good movie review.
I've watched those so many times.
Yeah.
Like all 3 of them.
Nice.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean nobody like, wait, nobody makes really bold, oversimplified statements about movies that it seems like they don't fully understand? Like, no, everybody does that, dude.
I was about to say, you can find that everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go watch your review on a Dan Brown movie that's positive. Like, it's weird. It's just weird. They're not, like, on my shit list with Kenneth Branagh or anything.
Yeah. No, I think, like you said, it just seems like a jarring thing to go back to, that you were saying, like, these were the guys who were supposedly, like, the best, and you're like, not only is it not really insightful, it's not even, like, good commentary, and it's weird.
It is weird. Yeah, and I guess it's like, okay, you know how like people keep breaking Olympic records, and like now like people who were like the gold medal best Olympians 50 years ago, now like people just do that all the time.
Yeah, it's like high school level, they're doing that.
Yeah, I guess it's like that with movie reviews. Well, kind of, right? Like, so many people are doing it and pushing the envelope and trying to be better and stand out from the crowd.
Yeah.
That when you look back at shit like this, it's like, wow, this really was preschool. And now we're doing our PhD.
Sure. No, yeah, that's an interesting idea to think of. Like, I hadn't thought about that, but like, you're right. Like that, it's not only because we talk about that a lot, of course, as well. That how like the art of making a movie has progressed so much that it's like, there's baseline levels of things that, like even criticisms or commentary about things that's progressed itself as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like I'm sure there are probably some good episodes of the show. Like you said, you've just been watching some random stuff. But it's like you said, there is that jarring difference.
Yeah, it's really just, I think my main thing is like, it's just really weird how they speak about women. I didn't watch anything that was like, I didn't watch the review of The Birdcage or anything, so I don't know how they speak about like, the homosexuals.
Right.
but I have an inclination that I would not like it.
Yeah, probably a good to stay away.
I think that I would be mad. But I could be wrong. Maybe they're very tolerant, but like, yeah, just the way they speak about women is so strange. Like that this was on TV. But I guess like when you think about it, Jay Leno did like make Monica Lewinsky jokes for 500 years, and that never would happen now.
Well, you'd hope.
Yeah, well, I think people view the situation differently. Like, they don't just view it as, haha, blowjob. And now they're like, oh, yeah, that was an intern working for the president. An intern who was 21 when the president was in his 40s. Yeah, maybe there was a power imbalance there, even if she did pursue him. Yeah.
We're not here to talk about political stuff, Devon.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. No, it's interesting, and I'm happy we had this little discussion about it.
Yeah, me too. Do you have any questions about it that I might be able to answer?
No, not really.
Good, because I don't know if I'd be able to answer them.
I guess my only question was maybe, and this is obviously, again, you're going to show huge. I know that Ebert did the Tribune, Chicago Tribune. Did they both do, were they both from the same paper, or did they write from different papers? They must have wrote for different papers, right? I
believe that they wrote for different papers, and I believe that the trucks that pull up in the opening sequence had what papers they wrote for.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I can't remember who Gene wrote for.
Yeah, no, I just like I said, I was unsure on that point, but that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
So weird to say Demi Moore goes to the gynecologist. I'm never gonna get that out of my head. It's so fucking weird.
Thank you so much for listening. You can check us out on Instagram at Tome of Uselessness. You can email us, tomeofuselessness@gmail.com. Questions, comments, fun Ebert reviews or moments there. You can check out our website, not too hard, tomeofuselessness.com. But yeah, thank you so much for listening and have a great day.